We I gotta ask you because we were talking all week. Everybody's buzzing about this GameStop crap that's going on, but I want to start first, kind of get your opinion before I go to GameStop. Um, I'm kind of all over the place, but what do you think of Joe Biden's first week? I've got my opinions, and I know the people on the podcast have heard me. So let's hear you out.
So I think the first initial feeling, and it's a feeling that's still there, but it's not something that should be given uh, too much credence. It is being overstated right now, and it shouldn't be, but it is worth acknowledging that yes, in fact, everyone is able to breathe a sigh of relief. This feeling that you know the reality TV star president is out of the White House, and you have someone in the White House who, supposedly, given the credentials, given the letters, given the resume, appears to have more experience, right? I'm going to start with that in saying we can get that out of the way and say, yes, we can all collectively breathe a sigh of relief in that regard. But that should not be overstated. It should not be assumed that that is all that is expected of our leaders, a good resume. In fact, the record, when you look deeper into Joe Biden's record, and I'm assuming you covered this thoroughly on your podcast, it's not the best for the people, for the mass majority of the people anyway. And that's also worth acknowledging and pointing out. So we should never overstate the fact that we have someone with more years of experience in the White House. That experience isn't necessarily positive experience. So I think that's my first reaction, and I think that was everyone's first reaction on Inauguration Day, Wednesday, January 20th, right? But after that, we started to see the first week of his administration unfold, and we started to see what executive orders he signed on to, and what non-activity, frankly, we've seen on the legislative end. Executive orders are amazing, but executive orders can be easily rescinded or turned around by the next president. For example, a large bulk of the Biden executive orders signed into law right now, or signed in right now, are simply reversing Trump executive orders. That's really what they are. So we're just hitting reset on the clock back to the end of Obama's administration, 2016. There were a couple positives. Keystone XL pipeline permits,
Yep,
recent
yep,
permits.
yep.
Yeah, that's a positive. That upset Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, he's hard on
And
Trump. Like, he wasn't hard on
yeah,
Trump, yeah.
and Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, I believe. Um, I think he's the Premier of Alberta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there were others in Canada who were very upset. The corporate wing of Canadian politicians, those who invested heavily in the fossil fuel sector of the energy industry. Um, and frankly, we're going to talk a lot about poor investments today. I think that was a poor investment on their end. And, investments are what they are. You take the risk and hope for the positive, and sometimes the results are negative for you. Frankly, too bad, so sad. So I think Biden did a good thing there.
Yeah, I think with
Um,
if you don't mind,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, just real quick. And David Doe said this on the Rational National, which was Jason Kenney put all his money and trust into the Keystone XL pipeline when Joe Biden had been campaigning all summer saying, "I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna get rid of it," and Jason Kenney did nothing about it because
Just
he
poured
thought,
more
"No,
taxpayer money into it. Yeah.
right." So now he's lost out because the oil
The
industry is
taxpayers
phasing
lost out.
out. Well, yeah, the
Canadian
taxpayers lost
taxpayers.
out.
Hmm.
But now
Hmm.
that's on him now, and he's angry. And Trudeau's angry because I I don't know if Canadians accept legalized bribes, but in their politics. But again, he's angry because, well, that's the best way to make money. The best way to make money is invest in the energy sector. So yeah, he got rid of the XL pipeline, thank God. But he's not. He didn't. There's not a lot going on with. Now he put out his proposal for climate change, but it's a nod to the Green New Deal, but it's not the Green New Deal. But continue on. What else did you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, not at all. And these are incremental steps, as is traditional of the neoliberal establishment's fashion. Everything's going to be an incremental step. So we can go home and say, yay, permits for the Keystone XL pipeline have been rescinded, and Standing Rock has been successful in preventing the Keystone XL pipeline from moving forward. Woohoo! And that's great stuff. It's worth celebrating. But the reality of the situation is we don't stop here. But the neoliberal establishment thinks that we should be satisfied in stopping here. No, we have to frustrate the aspirations. We have to frustrate the aspirations of the corporatists, whether they're corporate Democrats or corporate Republicans. It doesn't matter their partisan affiliation. It doesn't matter where they stand in terms of ideological spectrum. If they are corporatist in their approach and in their legislation and in their policy, we have to frustrate their aspirations. We have to fight that uphill battle. So no, we don't go to sleep because the Keystone XL pipeline permits have been rescinded. It's our responsibility to continue. That's one thing. He also rescinded the travel ban on Muslim majority countries implemented and put in place by President Trump. That's amazing. He did a whole bunch of other things that were basically resetting the clock on where the Trump administration stopped. He did a Buy American order, but it was kind of toothless in its enforcement, frankly. There were lots of loopholes and ways, well, if you can't find you can only buy outside the United States if you can't find the product you need specifically inside the United States. He's telling the federal government in this executive order. So it's basically kind of like, Weasley the way it's written, but it's there. It's there. It's an improvement of that approach. It was President Trump who was talking so much about the Buy American order, but never really acted upon it, listening to the likes of Jared Kushner and other Goldman Sachs type lackeys who say, oh, it's more affordable to manufacture good art products outside the United States, which in turn wouldn't boost the U.S. manufacturing industry. So that was kind of half good, talking about a pathway in his kind of executive order, a pathway laying the ground for federal employees to be paid a $15 minimum wage over a course, I think, of 5 years or something ridiculous like that. But it's something nonetheless. And, he apparently extended or opened a special enrollment period for the Affordable Care Act marketplace between February 15th and May 15th. This, I think, was yesterday or the day before.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he did all these things, and I think the collective theme of all these executive orders is I don't know what your language policy on this show is.
No, you can use whatever language you want. I curse up storm here.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, frankly, all his executive orders are half-ass. They're like,
They're
we're
shit.
going to do better than Trump, but only as little better as possible.
Well,
As little
yeah.
better with getting the acknowledgement, but that's all we need. We don't want to, the bare minimum. We don't want to go any better, just the bare minimum.
Well, yeah,
And that's
exactly.
basically the theme of all those executive orders. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no. I was just agreeing with you because I took a look at it and I'm like, well, all these executive orders are shit because let's pretty much take a look at it. The Keystone XL pipeline, as we talked about, he didn't give workers like on the pipeline that much more money. He didn't give them a
Temporary jobs
pathway,
for construction.
temporary
That's all.
jobs for
Temporary jobs for
constructions.
construction.
He didn't give them healthcare into the green renewable energy, into the Buy American executive order. Again, loophole after loophole after loophole. It's never going to work. It's just propaganda and, oh, I did it, and no one's going to look into it because me and you pay attention to politics every day, and people who watch this channel and who actually watch it because they want to watch it and not comment on how possessed I look because my eyes move like little aliens, they know, right? But other people are not going to know, and he's going to be able to say that. And is it a good start? No. And that's, it's not a good start because you're just doing little to nothing really at all. And that executive order was shit too. The $15 minimum wage. He signed an executive order saying, okay, federal employees need to be paid $15 an hour in federal contractors. Great, Joe. Great. But and make the agencies find a way to do that. But then Congress, the Senate comes out with their stupid ass, bill saying, oh, minimum wage until to all the way to 2025, when they're watering it down before the Republicans water it down. So they're coming in with nothing, and the Republicans are like, well, hold my beer, right? Hold my Senate key. they're gonna say, oh no, we can't do it. I don't remember the other executive order you mentioned.
Affordable Care Act opening or extending a special period of marketplace enrollment. It doesn't actually address the healthcare issue. It just says, hey, we're going to give you more time if you want to look at the overpriced, inflated Obamacare marketplace and see if you want $800 a month insurance policies that are receiving COBRA subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's more of a handout to the private insurance companies than it is a support system or affordable health care, as it's called, Affordable Care Act, to the masses who need the health insurance. So and that's all he's done in executive orders. We can get into his legislative.
He's done a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, with his health care. He took it straight from the healthcare lobbyists. The Daily Poster, David Sirota, and others, they posted saying, well, he got it straight from Blue Cross Blue Shield organization and other healthcare lobbyists, and they told him what they wanted in the healthcare policy. And what did they do? They just went straight to the healthcare policy, to the healthcare lobbyists list, and said, well, there's our healthcare plan. So he already voted on the public option. And the public option,
it's full of COBRA subsidies. There's no public option subsidies in his new proposal.
Exactly. And I've got friends, and I know you know who I'm talking about, who say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. I'm not even going to waste time on them because that's just you not doing your research if you think that. But again, already voted on that. The travel ban, okay, great, yay. It's nice, but you're not improving American lives now. Okay, now we look at the private prisons, which he did too, which it closes down the contracts with private prisons that the Justice Department has. Those are only 12 prisons hosting 14,000 people. And yet we still have ICE, who has partnerships with private contractors, private prisons. And so 67% of ICE detention centers are private prison contracts. And he didn't cancel those and other detention centers. So we have 116,000 people in prison in the federal on the federal dollar, right? In the federal private prisons. Yet he's only freeing 14,000. So that means 102,000 are still left. They're still left. And so now we look at his healthcare plan. He voted on that. We look at his Keystone XL pipeline. He stopped there. Then he voted on the minimum wage. Then he voted on, he just did the little travel ban thing. And then he voted on this. I mean, just absolutely nothing. And then he decided, I'm going to fold on the $2,000 he fucking promised everybody. And he said, I'm going to give you the $2,000, right?
He
But
said
and he said
if we
immediately,
elect John and the Reverend, $2,000 will be going right out the door. He negotiated his own proposal down. He negotiated himself down 2,000 to 1,400, and not right out the door. Maybe March, potentially April, May.
possibly
We'll have
April,
to see
May.
whenever
We'll
it
have to
comes
see.
around.
June, we're on vacation, so maybe July. I don't know.
And
August,
he's
right?
negotiating himself down before he's even
Exactly.
had the text produced
Exactly.
by the Democratic majority in the House and
In the
Senate
Senate.
to bring to the floors of both chambers of Congress, and have the Republicans water it
Right.
down further, because they're going to water it down. So
Yep.
what he should do as a president is he should use his bully pulpit and say, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see the legislators come up with. This is the bill I want to see the legislators produce. Lay it down strong, lay it down hard. Then the legislators produce it exactly as he dictated it. $2 trillion, $1.9 trillion price tag. Don't boil it down. Bring it to the floor. Then if the Republicans want to attempt to negotiate, we can explore their negotiations, but we have to realize they're negotiating in bad faith. The reason the Democrats have the majority here is because they were given a mandate to cancel out the Republicans, to go against. It was a mandate against Trump's 4 years, is what it was. Therefore, it was a mandate against Republican majorities. So we have to use our majority, or I don't want to say we. I'm not an active member of the Democrat Party. I identify as an independent.
Yeah, me too.
But most Democrats have to use the power of the majority. Use budget reconciliation. Use whatever strategies, whatever tools they have in their toolbox, whatever weapons they have in their arsenal.
Well, Joe Biden already said
because
no.
they have the majority.
Joe Biden already said no. He already said, Bernie said, I want to use the budget reconciliation. And
Joe Biden wants it to be passed through regular order.
Bipartisanship. He's so obsessed with bipartisanship. You son of a bitch. You got the Congress. You got the Senate. Fucking pass something. We don't have the time. We don't have the fucking time. And here's Joe Biden. I need bipartisanship. Fuck you.
He's stuck in 1972 when he was sworn in as a senator.
Exactly. And it just gets me. I'm so confused as to why that happened. It's just like, bipartisanship. You have the Senate. The American people are not going to wait, and they're not going to forgive you. And I hear arguments, I just give them the 1,400. That's fine. They'll be over it. No, they won't, because, you could say, no, we meant $2,000 minus $600, and then we meant $1,400, and then we meant now, but then we meant March, April, May, June, July, August. I don't know, in 2 years when we need your vote. No, they meant that, and that's what they actually meant. No, Joe Biden didn't say that. Voters don't dig for meaning. They take what you say and say, okay, fine, he's going to provide me with $2,000. Now, we're not getting the $2,000. He's means testing the crap out of it. So now most of us won't get the check. So if you're a hardworking American, if you're a college student who's too young to be considered independent in the eyes of the financial aid office, you don't get a check. And it's not like you don't have bills, according to Joe Biden, because to Joe Biden, $600, well, he's got that in his right sleeve. He's got that in his left shirt pocket. So why are you running out of $600, huh? You should have more. That's what Joe Biden is thinking, and he's breaking his campaign promise. That's what I keep telling people. I know I'm going on a rant, but it's like people are saying, well, just give him a chance. Give him a chance. He's got a lot on his plate. Oh, yeah, a lot on his plate. Oh, we can confirm Lloyd Austin, Janet Yellen, and a whole bunch of others. Oh, but we can't get $2,000 out the door like that.